After 2 whole years, my friends, I am finally able to say this next sentence. Welcome to the first official episode of the Love Revolution's web show, Reset. Side note, we usually do our episodes over Zoom, but Zoom is being a jerk this week, so I'm doing what I can with what I have. So yeah, like I mentioned in the announcement video last month, this has been in development for about 2 years. I'm talking, I had the name, the logo, the topics for season 1, people I wanted to bring on the show and chat with. Like, I had it all set and ready to go, but I was not ready. Anyone that knows me knows that I've never been one to shy away from being open about my struggles with depression, anxiety, body dysmorphia, recovery from an eating disorder. I've always been an open book. And I've always been an open book because you never know who's listening. And because you never know who's listening, you really just honestly, you don't know who you might be inspiring to go get the help that they need. And in addition to that, I think it's important for us as a society to be open about topics like this. The stigma surrounding mental health needs to be changed. And I feel like talking about it, knowing there's no shame in getting help, and educating those who don't understand is a really big key to doing so. With all of that being said, I've been really quiet on the Love Revolution front for a while now. Obviously, you guys know that. And I get asked all the time, like, is this still a thing? What's going on? And yes, obviously, we are still a thing, going very strong. We're not going anywhere anytime soon, at least not until we're done working our magic. But I wasn't in the best place mentally and emotionally in order to lead this movement to greatness. And so I kind of took some time to myself to heal, look inward, and really recenter myself. So now that I've done that, through my self-love spiritual journey that I've had going on over the course of the last few months, I can confidently say that I'm okay. And I can say that and actually mean it, and I'm not just saying it because I think that's what you want to hear. Because that in itself, when we're not honest about how we're feeling, how we're really doing, it really does more damage than we actually realize. So now that we're here, I felt like the first episode is the perfect opportunity to dive into why I chose the name Reset and why I started the Love Revolution in the first place. Because I do get asked about it a lot, and usually I give you guys this kind of like sunshine and rainbows answer, but Reset is about being real and honest, so that's not happening today. No sunshine and butterflies for you guys. We're getting the real deal. So we will start with why I chose the name, just simply because it's the less heavy of the two. But so I chose the name Reset for 2 reasons. 1, it's very fitting for the mission behind the Love Revolution. And 2, it's an accurate word for what our society needs in terms of mental health stigma, beauty standards, self-love, all that fun stuff. We need a societal reset. So that is why I chose the name Reset. When it comes to my advocacy for body positivity and mental health, I wasn't always so adamant on pushing everyone to love themselves, pushing myself to love myself, or even taking mental health as seriously as physical health. That came later. But I have always been obsessed with my body image I think maybe I was 9 years old when I really started to like heavily obsess about it. But when I reached high school, that's when that obsession kind of evolved into some very extreme behaviors to try to alter myself so that I could fit that certain image. And that did a lot of damage to my mental and physical health. I grew up in an environment that made it really difficult to explore or express, if you will, both of my cultures. Terry wasn't in the picture except for when he felt like being a dad every few years. But so because of that, I was raised by my mother and her side of the family. I used to resent them a lot of the time when I was younger and even into my early 20s because I felt like the black sheep of the family, both literally and figuratively. But, now that I'm older and I'm healing myself and I understand people in the world more, I realized that it wasn't ill-intentioned at all. I grew up in the Orchard Park area and went to a predominantly white school, so I just think that they were trying to protect me in the best ways that they knew how at the time. But I also don't really think that they realized just how much of an impact that it had on me. So I began straightening my hair way too much. I wanted to diet lighter all the time so I could be like my friends. It was always girls your age should be thinner, and anyone that really does struggle with insecurities and body image issues, that when someone says something that, to them they're just kind of saying it in conversation or just saying it to say it or whatever, just how much that comment sits in the back of your mind. And I wasn't obese, but I was bigger than my friends, and a lot of the people around me would not let me forget it. They made sure I knew it every single chance that they got. So I started wearing clothes that were too big for me so that I could feel small. Even in the summer, I began feeling guilty every time I ate. I was really obsessed with how I looked. I spent a lot of the time staring at my reflection in mirrors, just kind of picking apart all the things that I wish I could change about myself, like my skin color, my hair texture, my shoulders, literally any aspect of somebody that they could not like about themselves, I did not like about myself, like everything. But it wasn't just my physical appearance, though. I hated my walk, my voice, my laugh. Like, I was just kind of consumed in this dark void of self-hatred. And as I got into high school, this is like the peak of everything where I really lost it. I became increasingly more depressed. I was lost. I felt like I didn't belong anywhere. I just genuinely did not want to be here anymore. I became more obsessed with my appearance, which I never even thought that was possible at the time, but I did. And that obsession eventually evolved into an eating disorder. I was definitely at my most vulnerable in high school. But I kind of got to a certain point where I was really scaring myself with my thoughts and my actions. And so I told my mom that I was scared and that I was afraid that I was going to hurt myself. So I actually admitted myself into ECMC, and that is where the whole kickstart of seeking professional help and really figuring out some ways that I can cope and deal with all these emotions that I was feeling. I'm definitely not proud of the extreme measures that I took back then, but as crazy as it sounds, if I were ever to be given the chance to go back, I don't think I'd change anything that ever happened to me. Personally, I think that me rising from the ashes of my own self-destruction really molded me into the woman I am today. A lot of people don't realize that the environment that you're in, whether it's the environment you grow up in, the environment that you work in, just whatever environment you're in, like throughout the days, weeks, months, years, so on and so forth, it has a lot to do with how you learn to view yourself. But on the other end of that, anything that is learned can be unlearned. It's not easy, it's very difficult, but it's possible. I'm still learning to this day, even on my journey to healing myself from everything of my past. I'm still realizing that there are some things that I kind of developed as defense mechanisms that I am still unlearning to this day. It's a work in progress. It's fine. It's all part of the journey. And I call it a journey because that's what it is, because it's a consistent work in progress. It's something that you have to work at every day. Anyways, sorry, I talk a lot and I am getting way off track of everything that is on my mind. So, moving on. When I got into undergrad, things were still a little bit rocky. They weren't perfect, but I was becoming more confident. I was becoming better with my mental health. But I was really sick and tired of seeing the people around me feel how I felt when I was at my most vulnerable. I was sick of all of us feeling like we weren't enough. I was sick of all of us feeling like we just had to obtain this ideal body image that society has said is beautiful. We were really just obsessing over this image that supposedly equates to beauty, but beauty is not one thing. It's all inclusive or not at all, just like body positivity. And so I feel like, and I still feel like, the body positivity movement, right, like on a global scale, is centered around just bigger women, which is equally incredible, obviously, because anybody deserves to be encouraged to love themselves and be told that they're beautiful. But it's problematic because, like I said before, body positivity is all-inclusive or not at all. So we're forgetting about women that are smaller. Just because they're thin, that means that they're confident and they're beautiful and forget their feelings. No, that's wrong. We don't even acknowledge our men or our LGBTQ plus community. We're leaving out all of these amazing people. Body image affects all of us. There's laundry lists of stigmas and standards for all of us across the board. So, based on the current body positivity movement and their kind of, the way they think, the way they work, bigger women deserve to love themselves, but screw everyone else. See, that didn't sit right with me, and it still doesn't sit right with me. So I decided to stop being pissed off about it and do something about it. So I walked right into the director of Student Life's office at the time, and I said, hey, I want to start a body positivity campaign right on campus. This is why. This is how I want to get started, and this is what I plan to do. And so I did. That is where the Love Project, because that's what we were called at the time, the Love Project, that's where that was born. But then Ellen DeGeneres launched something called the Love Project, even though I literally searched the internet for months and the Love Project didn't exist besides a group called the Love Project that was about saving planet Earth. So I'm like, all right, but we weren't trademarked, so it's not like I could just fight Ellen DeGeneres, you know what I mean? So that's when I rebranded the Love Revolution, which in my opinion is 1,000 times better anyway, so thank you, Ellen DeGeneres. And that's where the Love Revolution came from. And that is my story on my advocacy for body positivity and mental health. But, friends, all of those personal reasons aside, there's some actual statistics and real life disorders that people struggle with as a result from this backward society that we're living in that is really, really scary. 91% of people are unhappy with their image and resort to dieting, and only 5% of that 91% actually obtain their desired image in a natural way. There have been studies done that show correlations between reality TV and the stressed importance of a certain image in young girls. A third of people who actively participate in the normal diet culture actually merge into pathological dieting, which is exactly what it sounds like. Oh, and a quarter of those people, they develop eating disorders. Our youth, our 9 to 11-year-olds, 9 to 11, actually fear gaining weight more than anything else. So as a society, we have really become disgustingly obsessed with being this, how do I want to word this standard of beauty. But like I say and will preach until the day that I die, beauty isn't measured by one. It's not one size, it's not one shape, it's not one gender, one color, it's not one anything. It's all inclusive or not at all, and we are literally killing ourselves to obtain an image that our society has brainwashed into believing for years. But what do they care? Because they profit off of it. And on the other hand of that, like I said earlier, the list of disorders that people develop is really sad. I mean, we're talking about body dissatisfaction when a person's subjective negative appraisal or general unhappiness with their body or aspects of it has a significant effect on their lifestyle and their behaviors. Overvaluation, judgments of self-worth based on one's shape. Body preoccupation, the tendency to obsessively think about your weight and shape. Body image avoidance. People with body image avoidance actively avoid situations that elicit body weight and shape concerns. So that means they're avoiding being weighed. They're wearing baggy clothes. They're covering up their mirrors. Thin ideal internalization, the extent to which a person actually believes that being thin will bring them happiness, success, worth. Body dysmorphia, and I actually struggle with this personally. The technical definition is a body image disorder characterized by the obsessive idea that an aspect of one's body is severely flawed, and in result of that, they take on extreme behaviors to hide or fix them. But for me personally, like just with someone that suffers with it, I actually, when I look in the mirror or catch my reflection anywhere, or when someone takes a picture of me, I actually see myself bigger than what I actually am, and it really messes with my head. I mean, it messes with anyone's head, but it's difficult. So all of those statistics, all of these disorders that I've kind of threw at y'all today, this is a problem. This is a problem. And I'm going to sound crazy, but I feel it in my soul and in every fiber of my being that I am part of the solution with my movement. So thank you, Buffalo, honestly, from where we started to Warp Tour to Body Positivity Week on Villa Maria College's campus. Thank you so much for giving me endless support since I started this. That means so much to me, and wow, I cannot talk today. There are not enough words in the English language that I could possibly piece together in order to capture that. I can't fathom a life in which I do not advocate for mental health and body positivity. That is all that I have for you guys today. Thank you for tuning in. Be on the lookout for the second episode. We are releasing episodes every other week. So even though it's Saturday, the next episode will be March 19th. And that's in that episode, Katie and I talk about self-love and relationships. That episode is literally like 15 minutes long though, but I mean, it's fine. So I only took up like 22 to 23 minutes of your time today, so like it's fine. But yeah, so look out for the second episode. I am still taking entries for the community spotlight portion of the third episode. So if you know someone that has a business, wrote a book, wrote a script, is a baker, a cook, a musician, anything, literally anything. If that person can benefit from some free promotion, message me and we will make it happen. Thanks, guys. See you next time.